Good evening, family. This is Dr. Kia Pruitt. Yes, this is some odd timing, but I'm excited. I'm up late at night. You all know that today is Wednesday evening. It is January the 25th, 2023, and the time is 10:58 p.m. So I know it's odd timing, but when we used to listen to the news, we used to listen to 11 o'clock news, right? So I'm 2 minutes earlier than that. But good evening. I hope you all are having a fabulous evening and I hope you had a great day. By now, you probably have seen one of the videos that I uploaded talking about a bank giving information about the currency reset. Then they were talking about exchanging currencies, the dinar, the dong, and the zim. And so I was so excited I had to upload that video. When you get a chance, go and look at that. So family, I have to give homage and thanks to Metroid, who is my friend Patrick from Cleveland, Ohio, for giving me these two videos that I'm going to share with you today. Good evening, peace and love, family. Yes, it is an odd time, but I just wanted to show you these videos that Metroid shared with me. That sounds exciting, just to let us know that something is coming down the pipeline. Whenever you hear banks talking about currency exchanging and they're talking about Chinese elders, which are people that we know who are part of bloodline families that have set aside trusts and gold and silver and all type of precious metals to help liberate humanity and to offset all the debts. So this is going to be good news. I will try so hard not to be long this time. Good evening, good morning, good night, depending upon where you're coming in from. Check in, family. Yes, I know, I'm excited too. Has anybody seen the video I just uploaded about an hour ago or 30 minutes ago, sent to me by Metroid? It is a conversation between two guys who had just set up a bank account at Citibank, and they were discussing how bankers were talking to them about the coming global currency reset and revaluation of currencies. So, to catch you up to speed, a global currency reset is a resetting or restarting of the financial system on a global level. So, all of the banking systems that we have had in the past will be completely destroyed, and we will go to a new banking system where all of the currencies will be backed by gold. And this new banking system is called a quantum financial system. That quantum financial system will be completely transparent so that nobody will be able to do any nefarious activities. And all of our banking institutions or financial institutions have to now become Basel III and Basel IV compliant, which is simply means that gold is seen now as a tier one asset, or gold will be used as money, and all currencies must be backed by gold. Additionally, all of our banks must have gold and silver and precious metals, other precious metals to back their positions, and they are not allowed to conduct any nefarious practices. And that's important for me to state because I'm going to share with you a lawsuit that was brought against JP Morgan Chase. And that lawsuit now has forced them to come online and say that they're going to be more transparent with their banking practices. So, hello, family. Yes, this is so exciting. I am honored that you all are here today. Check in, family. I am so good to see you all. I can't believe so many of you are still up. I'll try to make this as quick as possible. So again, I want to thank Metroid for sharing something with us. And I want to share this with you today. And I decided to make this title called What Does Alexa Know? So come on, Alexa, talk to us. And I'm going to share this with you all today. And you all tell me what you think about what Alexa is about to say to us. So type one in the chat if you can hear what Alexa is saying to us tonight. Thank you, Metroid, for sending this to us. I love you all so much. So here we go. Let's see what Alexa says. Somebody asked Alexa a very important question about the GCR and the currency exchange. So listen to what she says. Put one in the chat if you can hear it.
When will the foreign currency revaluation take place?
From certlibrary.com. The foreign currency revaluation has a considered date of January 31st. Did that answer your question?
Alexa, when will the foreign currency reevaluation take place?
From certlibrary.com. The foreign currency revaluation has a considered date of January 31st. Did that answer your question?
So I don't know if you all heard that, but he asked Alexa, when is the foreign currency exchange going to occur? And Alexa allegedly said that it has a date of January the 31st. So I'm not saying that that's when it's going to happen. I'm just telling you what Metroid received and what was passed on to me. So if that's the case, now we know nobody really knows the specific dates except for very few people. And if you know dates and you tell it, you could be held for treason, right? Because this is very high intel information. But I thought that was just amazing the way Alexa says that it has a date of January the 31st. Now, here is another video that Metroid sent me. So thank you, Metroid. Again, he is my family member. I call him my family member, my homeboy, a cool gentleman from Cleveland, Ohio, from my hometown. And his name is actually Patrick. And I don't know if he wants me to say his last name, but listen to this. Now, I recorded this. I actually uploaded this one a little earlier today. So tell me what you all think about this one. Now I am going to mute it on my end in hopes that you can hear it on your end. So type one in the chat if you can hear it. And if you cannot, then I will take off the mute. So let's see what these gentlemen who have gone into Citibank have to say about the global currency reset and the revaluations of currencies. Now, to bring everybody up to date, we talked about the global currency reset is resetting the financial system where it was based on the fiat United States dollar, but now will be backed by gold. And a revaluation of currencies would be assessing a new value or increasing the value of all currencies all across the globe based on the currencies now being backed by gold. And all those currencies will be one-to-one. So listen to this, family. Put one in the chat if you can hear this. I'm going to push the mute button and you tell me if you can hear it. Here we go. And this is from my video that I uploaded earlier today called Wow, RC, GCR, Dong, Zim, Dinar, currencies exchange discussed by a banker. Here we go.
See,
I'm the anonymous.
we're the anonymous.
I'm the anonymous.
This is the
No. That's my information.
okay. So this is the. Well, go ahead, Ruben. Just
No, you go ahead, bro.
these are the three accounts that he was offered. I guess there's certain tiers that you're offered when you get an account. And this paper is what I sent you. And as you can see, it has, this is what, how would you say it, Ruben?
I'm going to go ahead and just really quickly. He slipped and said, these are gifts from the Chinese elders.
Chinese, so he said the Chinese elders.
These are gifts, they're gifts from the, and I go, oh, really? And then he got quiet and backpedaled.
So it's like little pendants, 24 girl. And then as you can see, tier 1 to 5, it's based upon how much you have in your account, $1 million or higher. So what were you saying
The
about?
other one, there was another paper he showed me. I took it back. It had 10 million plus. I never seen that at a bank.
So which would be another gift or something,
Yeah,
right?
but that was for like private. That was for private customers. So private bank customers.
And what were you saying about in terms of the currencies when you asked her about?
She said, she said, I go, you and I both know what's about to happen. And she just looked at me. I go, that's why your entire banking structure is based on foreign exchanges, foreign currencies, wire transfers, costs and fees that have changed. And inside these packages, that's all it talks about how the bank completely restructured as of December of last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, it says here that between December 1, 22 in March of 23 that this is their enrollment period for the New Year offer. Notice the 2023 Lunar New Year offer.
I cannot show the papers inside.
Okay.
I can't show.
And then you asked her about when she asked about the currency.
I asked her. She goes, "Do you have currencies by any chance?" Like, I absolutely do. And she asked how much, and I said, "I'm not willing to disclose that, but it's in the millions." And she says, "Oh." And then she asked me. The lady come over and asked me, "Do I have Zim by any chance?" And I said, "No, that I don't have." And she goes, "Oh, that's kind of too bad."
But what currency do you tell her?
I told her I have the Iraqi dinars and the Vietnamese dong, which your bank is absolutely taking those. I called this morning, and then she goes, "Yeah, I know. We are."
Yeah, because Citibank, it's on there. You can definitely order it. Okay, so Holly, we just want to give you a verified update, just so you know what happened. This was like what, Ruben, about an hour ago?
That was yesterday, actually.
This is yesterday. Okay. So he just came over and shared it with me. So here we go. And then talk to you later.
Why you should never rest a
So you all saw that, right? Did you see that? So what it sounds like is two people were at Citibank and someone had just opened up a bank. You can hear me now, right? Someone had just opened up a banking account and they said that the banker was talking to them about the currency exchange. They talked about the Chinese elders ejecting money into the economy. And the guy asked the banker, do you all know about the Zim, the Dong, and the Dinar? And they were like, yes, we do. And the gentleman said, I know you do because I called the bank. And you all sell the currencies and you will be exchanging the currencies. So it seems like banks are now opening up about talking about a currency exchange. So the banker asked the gentleman, do you have Zim? And he said, no, I don't have Zim, but I do have currencies. And she said, how much? And he said, well, I don't want to disclose that, but it's in the millions. And so she said, well, you don't have Zim? And he said, no, I don't have Zim. She said, well, that's too bad. He said, but I do have millions of currencies. And then they go on to have a conversation, which sounds to me like soon we will have the exchange, what we call the RV, or the revaluation of currencies and the exchange. Now, what that basically means is all of you who hold the Iraqi dinar, the Vietnamese dong, the Indonesian rupiah, the Indian rupee, what else? The Venezuelan bolivar, the Zimbabwean Zim, and other currencies will be able to go into the bank and get a high rate of return on your investments because you bought it while those currencies were devalued. Somebody said, Nader from the Middle East said Iraq has a rate. I heard that too. We just don't know how much and when it's going to be put out. The latest thing that I heard is that the rate is now, I think they said $3.51 on the Iraqi dinar, but I don't think that is anywhere where you could see it. But we trust Nader because Nader is actually over there in the Middle East. So thank you for sharing that, Richard. Presley. Family, if you don't have currency, it's okay. I want to tell you where you can buy currency. That was such a good video, right? So where you can buy currencies, write this down or just come back and listen to the video. You can go to Banknote World. Yes, Metroid. I love you so much for sharing this intel with me. Thank you so much. Banknoteworld.com. You can also find Banknote World currencies on eBay.com. So a lot of people don't trust eBay, but you can buy currencies there on eBay. And you can also type in Banknote World and it'll pull up their currencies that are on eBay, or you can type it in on eBay. So banknoteworld.com, ebay.com, amazon.com sells some currencies. 100 trillions, that's 100 trillions. Spell the word out with the S, that's plural.com. Safe Dinar also sells currencies. Great American Coin Company sells currencies, and there are some others. So you might be able to type it in and let's see, ask, where can I purchase dinar or foreign currencies online or something like that. So family, it's okay if you don't have the currencies. Yes, you still have time. Thank you, Menicia. Thank you so much. Great American Coin Company, Banknote World. These are places where you can purchase currencies, right? So which banks are trustworthy? Some people said Chase or Citibank. Well, let's talk about Chase and Citibank for a minute. Now, we know Citibank was having some issues, but what's going on is all those banks that are not Basel III and Basel IV compliant, meaning that they have not gotten gold to back their positions, and they have not cleaned out their nefarious activities, those banks have been or will be shut down. Now, I've been told a long time ago, since 2017, that the number one bank that will handle the currency exchange is actually Wells Fargo. And so I set up an account at Wells Fargo in 2017 and went and talked to the bankers and bank managers. And the bankers didn't know anything about currency exchange, but one of the managers in training, even though he didn't know about it, he told me he believed it because there was some chatter about them being trained to handle some type of incoming banking practices. And he wondered why all of a sudden his bank stopped selling the dinar. And when you would call Wells Fargo's headquarters a number, the first thing they would say is, we do not sell dinar. We will never sell dinar. Do not come to our bank to exchange dinar. And he said to me, I always wondered why they would say something like that as soon as you would call the headquarters. He said that was peculiar to me. So I told him the reason why they were doing that is because some people have been in this RV or revaluation intel community for a decade or so. And so these people would go to Wells Fargo over the years for a decade asking, is the currency exchange happening now? Is it happening tomorrow? And so Wells Fargo got tired of this because they couldn't even handle their regular customers because of the people that were so excited about these exchanges that were to come in the future. This has been going on for a decade. So Wells Fargo had stopped selling the dinar, which is why one of the reasons why you can only find it online. So Wells Fargo will be the number one bank that will handle the currency exchange. So for all of you that do not know about currency exchanges, I don't know if you can purchase currency. Some currencies you can purchase from Wells Fargo, but I know there are a couple of them here in Florida that do not sell the dong. So go to your local bank and ask them which currencies they sell, or give them a list of currencies and they will let you know if they have them. That's a great question. So yes, some banks do sell currencies. I know Fifth Third Bank used to sell currencies as well. So banks, as you all know, have been hoarding gold. Banks last quarter hoarded gold in record numbers. So you all know this, I've said this many times. Last quarter alone, banks amassed among themselves 400 tons of gold. Now, the reason why they did this is because they had to become Basel III compliant, making gold a tier 1 asset, meaning now we'll start to use gold as money, as well as gold has to back their positions. So this is why some of the banks have weird hours because they're getting gold in their banks. They're retraining their financial advisors, their managers, to handle this new system that's coming online and to prepare for the exchanges. So when you go to the banks to do an exchange, they have a de la rue machine. And a de la rue machine will run the currencies through the machine to validate the authenticity of those currencies. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to get currencies from a reputable company, because reputable companies will give you a certificate of authenticity. And that certificate of authenticity just states that they run the checks on the currencies and validated that the currency is a correct, real currency. So you'll go to the bank and they will run the currencies through a de la rue machine to validate that it is a lawful currency, and they will tell you the exchange on those currencies. Now, I know a lot of currency gurus are saying that the banks, you will sign an NDA with the banks and you'll promise the bank that you'll keep your mouth closed, blah, blah, blah. But that is not what I've been told by some of the farmers who actually were a part of the farmers' claim that led to Nasara. What I was told is actually the banks will sign NDAs or non-disclosure agreements with us, because now they are financial advisors. They know how much we'll have in our accounts. Some of them, they will provide us with wealth managers. So that's exciting. They will provide us with banking benefits, and they will help us to set up our humanitarian projects if we have humanitarian projects. So yes, there will be non-disclosure agreements signed, but my perspective is that the banks will have to sign them, because we are sovereign beings and banks will now work for us. So again, you go to the bank, you run those currencies through the de la rue machine, and they'll give you the rate of return. They'll sign non-disclosure agreements and confidentiality agreements, ensuring that they will not talk about your information. Okay, and then if you are doing a humanitarian project, then they will help you with humanitarian projects. And by the way, as an aside, those of us who will have a humanitarian project with our new wealth, we will be protected by Homeland Security. So trust me, they know who we are, they being Homeland Security, the government, I'm sure they know, as well as our galactic brothers and sisters that are here to help us. So which currencies are valid? I'm glad Metroid is answering that question for us. Yes, and the ZIM has the best rate on the return. Thank you, Sister Kathy. So Metroid is letting us know that the Zimbabwe bond note, thank you, the Zimbabwean note, the ZIM is a bond and not a currency. So if you look at the top left-hand corner, it will say something to the effect of, this is a promise to pay the bearer upon demand. So remember how they say your word is bond? Well, this bond is actually written on government bond paper. So we will redeem bond notes and we will exchange currencies. So the Zimbabwean bond note that you need to get is the 2008, 2009. Hi, sister. Hi, my sister Sheree. I love you. Thank you for always supporting me, sister. I love you so much. The Zimbabwean note that you need to have is the 2008 AA or 2008, 2009 AB note. So you can get the Zimbabwean bond from eBay, from Banknote World, from 100 Trillions. Write it out, 100TRILLIONS.com. You can get it from the Great American Coin Company, and you can even get some on Amazon. And you may be able to go to your local coin shop and ask them, because I've actually seen some notes there. So Metroid is also letting us know, no, you don't have to have a humanitarian project in order to exchange. You don't. Some people are saying that, Proverbs 31, but you do not. That's my perspective and what I've been told. Now, they wish that you would do that, and they hope that you would do that. And I personally don't know about this back note, what they call it, screen rates and back rates and specific different tier rates. What I've been told is across the board, you will all have the same rate. But I don't know, because I don't have a high level clearance or anything like that. But that's just what I've been told. Everybody will get the same rate, and you don't have to do a humanitarian project that I know, not to exchange. But of course, they're hoping that we will. And some people are saying the ZIM is specifically for humanitarian projects. And that may be because they are so much more valuable than other currencies. So Metroid is letting us know that the Vietnamese dong, the Iraqi dinar, the Venezuelan bolivares, the Indonesian rupiah, the Zim agro checks. So see, look at this on the screen, and many more currencies, as well as Philippine pesos. So thank you for that. Also, the Indian rupee. That's a good one. I'm kind of interested in the Chinese currency as well, and Japanese currencies. And some people have talked about the Malaysian currency as well. So again, go to Banknote World, eBay, Amazon, 100trillions.com. What else? And a Great American Coin Company.com, as well as talking to some of your local coin companies. So this is good news that people are starting to talk about this now. Oh, thank you. Oh, Octorian Council. I love that. So you're looking on Amazon as you speak. Immaculate, let us know if you see some good currencies on Amazon as we speak. So now the Bolivar, it could be the dark horse. Oh, thank you for that. The Bolivar is actually a Venezuelan currency. And much like the Zimbabwean currency, it was severely, let's see, how do you say it? Devalued because of high inflation, corruption, sanctions against Venezuela, as well as sanctions against Zimbabwe. So just to bring people up to speed, what would happen is, as you all know, the United States dollar has been the world reserve currency for a long time. What made the United States dollar the world reserve currency was actually our agreement with Saudi Arabia. And that agreement was, and we know that Andy Schectman has taught many people this from Miles Franklin Precious Metals Company. What made the US dollar the world reserve currency was our agreement with Saudi Arabia. The world reserve currency means the currency that we force everybody all over the globe, every country to use. So that agreement basically stated that we would protect the Saudi empire and in exchange for their oil, and we would then force other nations to use the United States dollar for trade for that oil. So that made us, again, the world reserve currency. And if any country did not do that, we put sanctions upon them and we sent war to them, and we completely decimated their countries. So when those countries were war torn, because we would send, of course, our military over there, and we would fund both sides of the war and pretend like we were on one side. But what was going on was people high up, can you all hear me clearly? People high up, let me know, in the military, and people who were in the presidential positions, world leaders, and who else? Banking CEOs would go to those war-torn countries, and those countries that had high inflation and devalued currencies, and buy those currencies while they were low, buy those currencies while they were devalued. Okay, because you know how they say in economics, buy low, sell high. Thank you, sister. You said you could hear me, right? Buy low, sell high. So they would go over there and they would buy those currencies. And then after the war, after sanctions, America would go into those countries, like what happened in Kuwait in the 1990s. And they will rebuild their country, rebuild their roads, restore their railroads, and their countries would start to boom, and their economy would resurrect, and their currency would revalue based on the country now doing well. So then what would happen is those military men, those banking CEOs, those presidents all around the world, and Congress people would then go to banks and get an exchange on those currencies from those countries based on the new rate, now that those countries had their economy was restored and their currencies had revalued. So again, they would enrich themselves, and that's how so many of them became millionaires and billionaires overnight. But we didn't know that. Okay, so now what's going on? Yes, please buy a Zim note. You can get some very inexpensively. You can get a trillion, 500 million note, 10 trillion note, billion note, 100 trillion notes. Get whatever you can afford. So what's going on now is that our galactic family and the creator has allowed us, we the people, to know about that. So only get it if you can afford it, family, if you have money, then get the currencies that you can, because some of them are really inexpensive. I believe the Indonesian rupiah is one of the ones that are inexpensive, and you all can share it with the chat, some of those other ones that are inexpensive. Let's see. What did you say? See if you can use the code GGL25. And which one is that? Is that on Amazon? You share that in the chat. So if you have any money, see if you can get some based on what you can afford. Go to your local coin shop, because I saw a Zim note for $3. $3. So a lot of people don't know this information because they're told this is a collector's item. These currencies are worthless. And so I didn't even tell them anything about the currency. I just said, oh, I'll take that little worthless note. I got $3. And so what I'm telling you is get what you can afford. And if you don't have the money for that, like get some bottles and exchange those for cash, get some cans and recycle those. Get with your family members, put your pennies and your dollars together and buy something, whether it be silver, gold, or foreign exotic currencies. Now, some of you know that the Iraqi premier made an announcement in October, and I've shared that article with you, that he is revaluing the IQD, that's the name, of the Iraqi dinar. He is revaluing it against the USD. He said that in October. He said, I'm fighting against endemic corruption. Okay, she said, go to Great American Coin Company for that, and use that code. Yes, this is exciting. He said, I'm fighting endemic corruption. I'm working with other countries to restore or bring back my stolen money, meaning gold and silver, and I'm revaluing my currencies, what do you call it, the IQD or the Iraqi dinar against the United States dollar. So we knew when he said that in October that the RV was happening very soon. So again, buy low, sell high. So I was talking about Venezuela because somebody mentioned the Venezuelan bolivar. That currency probably will revalue very, very high because it's been decimated for so long. Now, in case you didn't know it, in the 1990s, Kuwait had a war about the late 80s, early 90s. And I know this because my brother was in the World War. He served in the Navy. Thanks to my brother Timothy Pruitt for serving. That's my sister Sheree and my biological brother. So he didn't know about this revaluation, but he did serve in the military. So what happened was the Kuwaiti dinar used to be very, very strong. It was like 3 to 1 of our dollars. Kuwait used to be one of the richest nations in the world. So the United States sent the military, United States Incorporated, the fake government, sent the military over into Kuwait. I don't know if I said Iraq, I meant Kuwait, over to Kuwait and started a war. They funded both sides. And of course, military professionals that were high up, not the little people. Some of the little people did know because the information trickled down, but very few. And I actually met somebody who made $1 million during the exchange, and his brother became a multimillionaire. So they sent a war of people bought currencies after they sent the war over there, and they bought the currencies low. And then America went back in there in 1990 and actually restored their currency, rebuilt their nation, rebuilt their roads and their railroads. And they had a revaluation of the Kuwaiti dinar, and people became millionaires overnight. And you can find those articles. Just type in Google, did the Kuwaiti dinar revalue in 1990? And what's interesting is that the Kuwaiti dinar revalued, it was like in the middle of the night or something, or early in the mornings, and on a weird time in the dark, because they had some type of electric power outage. So it's weird that they were actually in the banks exchanging in the dark. Don't ask me how that happened, but it will say that in the articles. So we know that they would probably do something like that, some type of black swan event, or do something that is really weird, some type of event that you do not expect, so that people can be looking over here while other people are going over there and exchanging. So just like the Kuwaiti dinar revalued in 1990, these currencies will revalue at the appointed time when all of the countries have been backed by gold. Now, I've been saying this for years, but because you have gurus that are on these calls that's been saying for over a decade, it's going to revalue tomorrow. It's going to revalue tomorrow. Oh, it's going to revalue Monday and Tuesday. And I kept saying, no, it will not. Now, I was just this little lone voice, this little girl from Louisville, Kentucky. Now I live in the great state of Florida, but I kept saying it can't revalue because no countries have yet announced that they are gold backed. No countries at that time had rushed to the gold standard. But now, somebody say, but now. Let me put my preacher hat on. But now, however, we see country after country admitting, stating, announcing that they are hoarding gold, that they have left the USD and return to the gold standard. Now we have country after country making verbal, overt announcements that they have left the United States dollar and left the United States hegemony and now return to the use of gold. That's right. Somebody say, but now. So the first country to do that was Russia with Vladimir Putin. When he went over to that country that start with the UK, we call it the ukulele, to clean out what's going on underground and dismantle that nefarious system, the United States put sanctions on Russia. But Vladimir Putin clapped back on that tail on 46, and he left the United States dollar and went to the gold standard. And he made a loud announcement that he was doing that. Then he led the BRICS unions, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, to do the same. They all left the United States dollar. Then Saudi Arabia did it. Mind you, I told you what made the world reserve currency, the United States dollar, the world reserve currency, was our agreement with Saudi Arabia to protect the Saudi kingdom for their oil, and we would force all other nations to use the United States dollar. So when Saudi Arabia left the United States dollar, essentially we can surmise, we can deduct, we can conclude that ended United States hegemony, that ended our power and our reign and control over all these countries, that ended the United States dollar and decimated it. And what happened after that? The BRICS Union now became Sal BRICS, and then we had other countries, Indonesia, yes, India, Egypt, Turkey, and Latin American countries. And I've listed in many videos all of those countries that left the United States dollar, so that now 85% of the global population have made a verbal overt announcement, not a covert, secret, quiet, behind the scenes announcement. They've made an overt announcement. And I've listed videos where I've brought up article after article where they've announced this. But you're not going to hear it on mainstream media, or news outlets right now, because they've got you looking at what's going on in Hollywood, and they've got people fighting over, should a man be a woman be a man. They've got women and men fighting against each other. They have different racial groups fighting against each other because they want to keep your eyes off what's going on economically. See, if we all realize that they've mistreated all of us all over the world, and that we are one race and we united together, we can help end this system. So again, if you desire to get in on the greatest transference of wealth, get in however you can. Put your monies together with your family members. Look over your needs versus your wants. Whatever is not a need but a want, consider sacrificing that so that you can use those fiat dollars to go and invest in some of these exotic currencies, if you will. And if not, you can invest in gold, you can invest in silver, because we're moving to a whole new global system. And even if gold is not in your range or in your budget, consider gold Arum notes, which you can buy for as little as $6.95 on some sites like at AppMex, and just look up gold Arum notes, AURUM, and some for as little as $3.95. I mean, you can look under your couch and get pennies for that, right? Don't raid the baby's penny bank. I mean, unless you just want to. But there is always a way around things, family. Okay. So I just wanted to bring that news to you today that people are talking about this global currency reset and how it will likely happen very soon. I, of course, don't know the exact date, but people are saying that it will happen very soon. Yes, get some tomorrow. Yes, Marco. So glad to hear that, because we will be able to bless our family members, ourselves, our communities, and our world to make it a better place. We will be able to clean the water. We will be able to help the homeless. We will be able to do so many beautiful things, and it will become heaven on earth. That's right. So somebody say, we didn't know about all this, but now we know. What else is in the news? You're trying to confirm that you can RV any Zim notes. So the Zim notes that we've been told, and Metroid shared that, or the Zim bond notes are the 2008 and 2009 AA or AB notes. So any denomination of that particular series. Try if you can to get a certificate of authenticity with that. You can get that from eBay if you look at Zim notes and then put COA or certificate of authenticity in the search part when you go to ebay.com, and will only bring up those items that have a certificate of authenticity with it when you buy from eBay. Or you can purchase from banknoteworld.com, and Banknote World also sells on eBay. Or you can get it from Great American Coin Company, because they too sell the Zim notes. You can also get it from 100 Trillions, 100, spell out trillions with an S.com. Now, some of these companies will sell the Zim notes for a lot of money, like $999. Don't spend that kind of money when you can spend like $100 or a little less, or $50 from some denominations. I mean, there are some denominations you might be able to get for $10 or $20, especially if you get the ones that have been used. So you have some currencies that have been used and some that are new. Somebody remind me of what the name is for used currency versus new currencies. I can't think of the name, but either one of them are valuable because they spend the same and they're all authenticated as long as you get a certificate of authenticity. Now, you can take your chances and get some without authenticity, that the note of authenticity, but it's probably best to get the ones with the certificate of authenticity. Yes, circulated. Circulated means that they've been used. Non-circulated or uncirculated, thank you so much, means that they have not been used. So somebody added me. Were you asking me a question? Was somebody asking me a question? People like me were buying them. So, from TravelX in Ohio. Yes. So don't forget, somebody said Banknote World coupon is for 20% off. Thank you, Green Eyes, is KD20, and they send a certificate of authenticity. So another thing that we brought up recently, family members, I just want to give you the news that's been going on, is that banks are in trouble. So we're making sure that the banks we go to are Basel compliant, and you can ask your banker if your bank is Basel 3 and Basel 4 is compliant. Bank of America, we know that they are in trouble, and we've seen this for a while. One of the reasons why they're in trouble is because of corruption that was going on in their banks. So when banks are in trouble and their stocks have plummeted, like we see Bank of America stock plunges, leading sell-off in shares of the largest U.S. banks, that was in December. So when banks are in trouble, what they will do is a bank bail-in. There's a difference between a bank bail-out and a bank bail-in. A bank bail-out is when the government uses its money to bail out the bank or to help the banks get out of trouble. Well, Janet Yellen, United States Treasury Secretary, just announced January the 19th on Thursday that the United States government has reached its debt ceiling of, I think it was it 31 or 32 trillion dollars? I believe it was. So they've reached their debt ceiling, so they cannot be bailing out people or banks any longer. Now we know behind the scenes that that the United States has been bankrupt and defunct. However, once they made that announcement, we know they can no longer do a bailout. So it looks like they've been stealing people's funds to do bail-ins. No more bailouts. They will do bail-ins, meaning they'll take money out of accounts. So people took to their social media platforms recently to say that they had no more money in their banks, or that money was missing from their accounts, or their accounts were closed. And when they called customer service of Bank of America, customer service did not answer. Now, of course, Bank of America is blaming Zelle, and they're blaming all kind of people. I've even heard that they saying that the Russians hacked the system. They always blame everything on Russia. But what likely has occurred is that they were doing bank bail-ins. Now, some people say that your bank account is safe because it's mirrored on the new quantum financial system, the QFS system. And so to that, I say, awesome. I personally do not want to take that chance. So if you desire to operate outside the banking system, or, you can take your money out the banks, you can roll it over into precious metals, you can put it in land, you can put your fiat dollars in businesses, or anything where nobody can, just take your money, because when it's in the banks, when you turn it over, it's no longer in your possession. They can do whatever they will under the old banking laws. So, however, I did leave enough in there just to pay off bills. Or you can choose, some people say credit unions are safe. I don't know about that, but I will do some research for you. Or you can just make sure that the bank with whom you bank or do business is Basel III and Basel IV compliant. So what else is going on in the news is that JP Morgan and JC Morgan Chase is allegedly in trouble and may be filing bankruptcy. I do not know, but that is word on the street. So be careful with some of these banks, and stay up on the news as it relates to the banks, because we all know that JP Morgan traders were found guilty for manipulating the markets. They were found guilty for manipulating gold markets. They were found guilty for manipulating the stock market, all type of markets. And as a matter of fact, they did have to pay a fine. And I believe it was only tens of millions of dollars that they had to pay, and 920 million, something like that. And that's nothing to JP Morgan, but they did have to pay a fine. They did admit guilt. They were found guilty. So when you look at the gold prices and you're like, Dr. Pruitt, gold doesn't look like it's worth anything. It's only going for less than $2,000 an ounce, and silver's not worth anything. It's only $25 an ounce. That's because it's being manipulated. So again, JP Morgan was found guilty for manipulating the markets. And I will put all of these articles in the description section for you. So I'm just alerting you to let you know that things are happening behind the scenes. And really, if you know where to look, you will see that it's not necessarily only behind the scenes. So I'm going to let you look at this article about JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America agreed to correctly report debts discharged in bankruptcy. 1 minute. Excuse me. Thank you for being patient with me. I see that this battery is getting low. So remember, I was saying Bank of America is in some type of trouble, which is why I believe many people's accounts were missing and money was missing from their funds. So let's look at this article here. And this article, I don't know when it was published. Let me see when it was published. I don't see it, but you can find this article at the American Banking Institute. I think it was published earlier this year, because it is this website is 2023. So according to an article in the New York Times, Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase are finally agreeing to properly identifying debts that were discharged in bankruptcy. Bank of America and JP Morgan Chase have agreed to update borrowers' credit reports within the next 3 months to reflect that the debts were extinguished. Very interesting choice of words. What debt were extinguished? Sounds like NASARA to me, the National Economic Security and Reformation Act, or the global version of that, the Global Economic Security and Reformation Act. So there has been a fierce battle over the lawsuits brought by Charles Jontinka, a bankruptcy lawyer in Manhattan, and George F. Carpanello, a partner with this law firm who is presiding over the case, has repeatedly refused the bank's request to throw out the lawsuits in July when he refused to dismiss the case against JP Morgan and Chase. So there were lawsuits brought against them. And of course, they wanted them to get rid of the lawsuit, and the lawyers said absolutely not. And let's see. The complaint sets forth a cause of action that Chase is using the inaccuracy of its credit reporting on a systemic basis to further its business in settling of debts and its buyers' collection of such debt. So I'm gonna put this article in the description section for you so that you can see what's going on with JP Morgan and Chase and what's going on with the Bank of America. There are other things that are going on with JP Morgan Chase and the Bank of America, and I'll see if I can find that for you as well. Let's see which article it is. We've got that one. We see that they found guilty. I talked about stocks plunging. Oh, right on the heels of it being announced that stocks are plunging with actually both of these companies, and there's some rumor and some chatter that these companies may be going bankrupt. We heard that JP Morgan was laying off hundreds of people in their banks, period. But specifically, this article talks about them laying up hundreds in the home lending area after rates surge. Now, some people speculate that this could be due to NASARA, because with NASARA, mortgages will be totally wiped out. There will be no such thing as a death pledge, which is what mortgage means, a death pledge, like mortuary, like, what is it, mortician. No more death pledges, no more mortgages, no more credit, period, under NASARA and GCR, because you're not supposed to be operating on a credit system. When you have a gold standard, you don't need it anyway. So all of that will be done away with. This is why I feel and know that JP Morgan is laying off their mortgage officers. So I will make sure that I also put that in the description section. So much is going on with these banks. So they will be closed down. They're doing layoffs. They're having lawsuits against them. They're being fined. And some of them would just go ahead and close their doors. Now, I don't know if you all follow Wall Street Silver, but I'm a part of Wall Street Silver, the Wall Street Silver community, and we're on Reddit, and we share intel, we share information, because we're just a group of silver lovers. But this is something that I wanted to share with you that I saw on Reddit I think it was earlier this morning. Again, we're a bunch of silver lovers, regarding JP Morgan banking company. It says it's happening. This was something that was posted on reddit.com and the name of the group is, again, Wall Street Silver. It's just a group of silver lovers that share information about silver. We share information about silver shares, silver mining, anything that's going on in the silver business or the silver industry. So what this says is it's happening. Somebody in our community posted. the silver raid. Now we have agreed to do a silver raid, to raid the COMEX, to raid the markets, and all of us in the silver community to buy up as much silver as possible. So I'll talk about that a little later. But somebody just created this meme for our group. And I don't know if you can see this over here, Wall Street Silver. Reddit.com/Wall Street Silver. So silver. So we said, somebody made this meme and say silver jumps to $1,421 an ounce. They just did that, just to pump us up so we can, if we feel like if we raid the markets and we buy as much silver as possible, we will take it off out of the market, away from the billionaires trying to hoard it up. And, silver prices would eventually jump up because the demand would be so high. But somebody put down here, JP Morgan files for bankruptcy and the CEO resigned. Now, that's what made me look into what's going on with JP Morgan and Chase. And I found that they're laying off people in mass, that they're laying off their mortgage department, that there's some speculation that they could be filing for bankruptcy, that there are even articles when you type up JP Morgan filed bankruptcy that will tell you that there's an indicator of some formula that you can do to determine, some type of indicator you can use to determine whether or not JP Morgan and or Bank of America will file bankruptcy. So I wanted to tell you about that because people in this community are pretty up on the news. They know a little more than the everyday person because they are actually involved in silver mining, gold mining. They have connections with silver and gold wholesalers. They're up on the politics. So this community is pretty adept in what's going on with geopolitics and economics. So I wanted to share that with you about JP Morgan going bankrupt, having some issues, and Bank of America having issues. Additionally, I told you all this morning, right before I went in to teach at a high school, that Chase Bank is closing some of its ATM machines. Now, they said the reason why they're doing that, closing some of their machines, is because of crime in the community. But a lot of people have stated that they think that the reason that Chase is closing some of their ATMs is because the whole banking system is actually changing. And I'll see if I can find that. Yes, here's this article, and I will also put this article in the description section for you to read. So family, always make sure you look in the description section. It may take me an hour or two, sometimes a little longer, to get all of those articles in there because I usually write a few words to describe the articles that I'm putting in the description section or describe the videos just to make it easier for you. So here is that article. It says Chase Bank shutting down its ATMs. And that was printed or put out earlier today, 12 hours ago. Crime is surging, the article said, in New York City, forcing many companies to rethink how they do business. Unfortunately, the impact is far-reaching as even banks have to make rapid adjustments. A prime example is Chase, whose customers received unwelcome news last week. So hundreds of Chase ATMs, at least in New York City, are closing down. So until now, its customers had no problem getting cash out for like a late night run or something, but that all will change very shortly. So this week, the banking giant announced that it would no longer allow 24-hour access to many of its ATMs in that particular city. And they cited multiple reasons for this, such as rising crime and vagrancy. The company determined some areas were no longer safe for its customers late at night. And they gave this news over to CNN. So you see much of this information now that had been hidden from the public is actually being brought out on mainstream news. And you know what? I told you all this would happen. I think it was, I'll see if I find the video where I talked about how President Trump, number 45, or also known as number 19 of the restored republic, our lawful government, made an announcement a couple of months ago. You remember that a couple of months ago when he said, I'm going to make a special announcement? Was it December 15th? I think it was December 15th. He made an announcement. I'll see if I can find that video. And he said, I'm going to my YouTube channel, see if I can find it. He said, I'm going to make an announcement, and a lot of people got angry. Do y'all remember that? Because the only announcement that they saw that he made was something about, there we go, was about Superman cards. Y'all remember that? So he made an announcement. It was on his Truth Social that I'm going to make an announcement. Then on December 15th, he made an announcement and he said he was going to have these cards, the Trump card, to come out. And so people got so angry. They were like, oh, that's all he said. Pruitt, you don't know what you're talking about. You got us all excited for no reason. And I said, pay attention, because later on that day, he made an announcement that he was attacking platforms such as mainstream media and social media outlets. And I did a report on that and I talked about it. I said, look, you have to pay attention. And I also deciphered the coded messages that he used. And I told everybody in that report that what's going to happen. Oh, what's going on? I told everybody that what's going to happen is that you're going to see that mainstream media is now going to report the lawful news once President Trump made that announcement. And here is that video. Again, I will make sure I put that in the description section. This video was put out a month ago. So yes, that was in December, deciphering President Trump's announcement on December 15th, plus what happened in history on December the 15th. And that's where I specifically stated, let's see if I could look at I said, December 15th was a very important day. A lot of people missed President Trump's announcement. Some who heard it still were left uncertain, but we give the clear details. I talk about what happened in history, and I talk about, and I talk about how he was going to ensure that now social media would treat us fairly. We don't see that happening all the way quite yet. And that mainstream media will now have to report the lawful news, because what we need to know is that legally there was legislation passed that mainstream media could lie to us. Yes, that was legislation that the whole system could lie to us about what's really going on in the news. And in case you didn't know it, news is an acronym for NEWS, for North, East, West, South. What's going on around the world in the North and the East and the West and the South. So there were laws passed, not laws, but legislation or legalities that they could lie. But when Trump made this announcement, he basically said he was coming against mainstream media and against social media outlets as well. So this is why we're starting to see truth come out. So we talked about all those things going on. We talked about the lawsuits. And finally, before I answer any questions, before we all go to bed, because I'm sure we're tired, I want to tell you that it's interesting that India is buying up a lot of silver. Now, we know that countries are buying up gold or hoarding gold. We know in last quarter alone, they bought up 400 tons of gold, but not a lot of people are talking about what's happening with silver. So look at this article that was in Yahoo News. You see that? That was just published, 2 days ago? January the 23rd, 2023 at 10:47 a.m. Indian investors are taking advantage of increasing silver investment options. So here we go. This was printed in Globe Newswire, Washington. India's enduring affection for silver underscores the country's importance to the global silver marketplace. As the world's sixth largest economy and foremost silver fabricator, India also plays an essential role in silver and gold investment demand. So in other words, India, the country, plays a part in that global demand that we hear is going on in the gold industry. But what we hadn't heard before, that is also in the silver industry. Historically, they've recognized in that market as silver and gold as savings and investment assets, a reflection of the low penetration of banking and other financial products. Today, with new investment products available to Indian investors, India's role in silver investment has the potential to grow even further. A new Silver Institute market trend report, Trends in Indian Investment Demand, explores the main components across this market, including physical silver investment, exchange traded products, digital silver, the futures market in India, and silver's prospect for being listed on the India International Bullion Exchange. Now, this is important for a couple of reasons, to let you know that the demand for silver and gold are reaching all type of highs. So once the demand is high, family, then you start to see the supply decrease. Now we know that the earth is abundant, and there's an abundance or a surplus of precious metals everywhere. But do the wholesalers have access to that right away? Right. So the wholesalers only have a certain amount that they are able to send to the dealers. So this is why it's important that you and I get silver and gold if we can, or as we can, and roll over our fiat dollars into silver and gold. Specifically, especially if you have a savings in a bank account, you can ensure that your money is saved. It's not making a lot of interest anyway in a savings account. And with banks doing bail-ins and closings and being insolvent and still in the account money, you could take, even if it's a couple of dollars. When I start out, I still don't have a whole lot. I started out with 1 ounce of silver, and I was ecstatic about that 1 ounce of silver, because if we each buy 1 ounce of silver, that will enrich us. Silver and gold is wealth. We can pass it down to our family members. We can either trade it when it's time. And we can keep the billionaires from hoarding. They can't hoard it all if we get into that industry. Now, why else is this important? Because, let's see, this for physical silver investment, exchange traded product, digital silver. So you all know that digital assets, digital silver is coming online. It's another way to have wealth. Now, I'm going to close this article with this. During this time, Indian retail investors bought around 730 million ounces of silver. 730 million ounces of silver. I'm going to blow it up so you can see it. Representing 90% of 2022's global silver mine production. What? You're telling me that Indian retail investors bought that much silver? They own 90% of 2022's gold silver mine production? Following 2 years of depressed buying, 2022 saw a healthy recovery in physical investment, jumping to 79.4 ounces last year, the highest total since 2015. Now, remember I told you that the only time you can do a revaluation of currencies is after countries have returned to the gold, and you can say, and silver standard. The way we know this is happening is, one, many countries globally, all exporting nations, have verbalized that they have left the United States dollar and either returned to commodities like gold and silver, or to currencies that are backed by gold and silver, right? And we know, for one, the Russian ruble, that might be another currency to get, but I don't know if you can find it, is one of the strongest, as an aside, currencies right now, because Vladimir Putin, when he left the United States dollar, his ruble was backed by gold. And so, his currency was in a better position than other currencies. Well, when other nations followed his lead and left the United States dollar and went towards gold, simultaneously they were hoarding gold. Remember that article that said countries in last quarter alone hoarded gold or bought gold in the amount of 400 tons. Yes, so we know that banks and countries now have gold to back their positions and gold to back their currencies. So if 85% of the world and all exporting nations essentially, and according to Project Sandman, have returned to the use of gold, basically we can surmise that we are now on the gold standard. The only countries allegedly that are not using gold for trade are the United States, America, and some parts of Canada. That union is known as the USMCA, United States, Mexico, Canada. And that union was called that by number 45 before he left office. And one of the reasons why he did that is because he foresaw that this was going to happen, of course, because he's leading the military in this operation to take down a deep state. And he knew that there would be issues with importing from other nations. Now, a lot of people were angry with him because they said, oh no, he keeps blaming China for that sickness. And he's talking about China, China, China. But he was trying to let us know that our so-called leaders had sold us out to the CCP, you see. And so he was, yes, wanting to put sanctions on China, and he knew that they would clap back in some type of way, and some type of way we would stop doing trade with China. So people got mad at him because they didn't have the foresight that he has. Additionally, he knew that the United States dollar would collapse. He knew that countries would leave the United States dollar and leave United States hegemony or United States leadership or United States control. He foresaw that those dollars would come flooding back into America, which would devalue the dollar. And as the dollar decreased, we know this in economics, then gold and precious metals and silver increase. So he knew that these countries would leave the United States dollar, and that would affect imports. And that's why he kept saying, when he was at the forefront as number 45, that we need to make our own products in America. We need to bring those industries out of China and out of other countries back home. Why people would get angry about something like that, I would never know. I think they just bought into whatever the media told them, the mainstream media told them, that he, was in collusion with Russia, which, by the way, you all know, because I reported this, that the same person who desired to bring charges against President number 45 and said he was in collusion with the bear and with Putin, one of the same people just got arrested a day or two ago for having dealings with the Russian oligarch. And I reported that, I think, on yesterday. I'll see if I can find that article for you. So it's on my channel. Let me see if I can see that. So you see, a lot of people had things to say about President Trump because they were ignorant. They just didn't know, and that's okay. But let me show you what this looks like. Excuse me. Let me show you what what this looks like. I showed you who this person was, a person who was arrested for having dealings with Russia. And it is the same person who stated that President Trump had dealings. So here is that video that I did on, was it yesterday? Yes, one day ago, yesterday. So I want you to go and look at that video if you have time. I'll see if I can find that article. It says breaking another arrest. So let me see if I can go. Hopefully in the description section, I actually, oh man, I don't have that article there. Ooh, somebody should have called me out on that. I apologize for that, family. So in that podcast, I talked about who that gentleman was. He was, and you can find out. Oh, I know what. I did not put it in the description section because I said it was on Real Raw News, and that is an underground news source. And sometimes when you use those underground sources and put it in on YouTube, sometimes they'll flag you. So I want to be careful because I already have 2 strikes. But if you email me, I will send you that article and tell you about it. And if you want me to, I can skim through this. Let me see. I can skim through it so I can show you. I can show you the article in a minute. Hold on.
So then she would start laughing. She would go,
Let's see.
you do the here. Of his purchase with mainstream media. You're still talking about.
Well, that's about the debt
Right,
ceiling.
Patriot Mom said that was January the 19th. After latest info, then that is to
I do not see that.
Mark was doing great. And
Let's
when
see
it
about-
did come down, he said the dollar has to 1907. There was at the end. I just want to say every time I say January 24th, I think of my dad. Today. So here's that article right here. Can you hear me? Hopefully you can hear me. Here's that article here. And if you'd like to hear a little bit about it, 1 minute, I'll share it with you. Just 1 second. Who just got arrested? The same person who accused 45 article in the description section. I run the. Okay, I want to read that article to you, but I have to use code words because I don't want to get censored again, because that would be my 3rd strike. So let's look and see who just got arrested. The same person who accused 45 of collusion just got arrested. Let's see. Here we go.
What would you do if you knew a heart attack was coming? Joe Barton here, and if you're over 40.
Snow's family, please look up this article, because there are times when I want to put the article of certain things in the description section, and that's why I'm bringing it up to you today so you can see it on screen. But if I put the article in the description section, I run the risk of them seeing that article and then putting a strike against my channel. They will do that. They will look at your videos and it will it will pass preliminarily, but then they could go back a week from now and say that they're giving me a strike because of this article. So I'm not going to put the article in the description section because I'm treading on light, I need to tread lightly, but I need for you to see this. This was, let's see when it was put out. Let me get to the article. This was put out by ABC News, okay, on January 24th, today at 8:40 a.m. And I want to read it, but before I say that, I just want to say every time I say January 24th, I think of my dad. Today would have been my dad's birthday, or it's his born day. It's his heavenly birthday. He went home or transitioned in November of 2012. 2012 was a very hard year for us. I lost my mother-in-law. My mother-in-law actually helped raise me. She is the one who was responsible for kind of putting me and her son and me together. We married when I was young, when I was 18 and he was 20. So my mother-in-law passed in 2012, and then my dad also passed a couple months later in 2012. However, today is his birthday, so happy birthday, Daddy. We love you. I thank you for watching over me. Okay, I just wanted you to see that article. I don't know if I couldn't hear it when it's muted, so you all can see it, but basically the same person who tried to bring up charges against number 45 for allegedly having some type of dealings with the bear, that country over there. This gentleman who was an agent with the 3-letter entity,
it starts with the F and ends with an I, this same gentleman was just arrested. So I don't think this made mainstream news yet, but I wanted to tell you about that. So President Trump knew that there would be issues with imports. He knew that at some point nations would have to leave the United States dollar and go to the gold standard. The only way they could go to the gold standard is to actually leave United States hegemony, which means that they would probably stop trading with us. They would stop making items for us and stop sending them here to us. So when you as a nation don't produce anything, then you're relying upon other nations to do things for you. So we are having import interruptions going on right now. We have reached the debt ceiling as in the country. We're dealing with bank bail-ins, banks closing, massive layoffs, and I reported that on my channel extensively. And at the same time or simultaneously, while we see a destruction of the old world system, and we see a dismantling of their system and of their power structure, we have countries repatriating their gold back to them. We have banks hoarding gold. We have countries like India, which I just announced, hoarding silver and gold. And we have people waking up and people admitting also at the same time that their loans have been paid off. Metroid has told us on our channel, he in the chat, that he had $23,000 of IRS debt paid off. We also know and have reported that the Republicans are targeting the IRS and trying to dismantle it because according to House resolutions, HR 24 and 25, they will monitor the IRS and monitor the Federal Reserve System and dismantle it. So we see that happening. And we also know that as countries are returning to the gold standard, the United States has 15 states that have legalized, that have either introduced bills to legalize silver and gold to be used as legal tender. So they introduced it or they've passed legislation. 13 states in America. So it's happening, family. Things are changing. We're moving to a golden era. We're moving to a gold standard. We are moving to a new global financial system. And the way that you can help with that is pull away from the system and decentralize your money, then decentralize your banking system, become your own bank by having silver and gold, decentralize your food, decentralize your whole life. And you can even do that, like Kathy is saying, by doing something which seems small, but it's really huge, because you can have all the money and the silver and gold in the world, but if you don't have food and you don't have your health, it doesn't matter. So Kathy Ammons is saying we can grow food and export it. Yes, and then import the same food from another country. This needs to stop, that other countries are supplying us with food. What we grow here needs to be consumed here first. So if you do homesteading, if you do farming, if you do gardening, we need you, because food is going to stop coming from online. We've not only had import interruptions, but we've had supply chain interruptions where supplies aren't coming in like they used to. That includes food. And that means that trucks, we've had issue with the trucking industry. We've had issue with oil. We've had so many issues with transportation. We've had countries that we've sanctioned, like we've sanctioned Russia, we've sanctioned China, we've sanctioned Zimbabwe. We just continue to sanction country after country. So they're no longer shipping food and supplies to us. That means we have to make them ourselves. So how can you usher in the Sahara? You can start growing food. You can start making clothes. You can start tailoring clothes. You can start doing hair. Where are the chemists? You can mix chemicals together for our hair products. If we use it, make toothpaste, use baking soda, somebody said, with some other black charcoal and some other things. You can start fixing shoes, open up a shoe repair shop. If people don't have money, allow them to trade with silver or gold, or allow them to barter with you. And if you fix their shoes, then they'll bake you pie, or maybe they'll give you tomatoes and cucumbers from the garden. It's called bartering. So in the old days, they used to say, gold is the money of kings, silver is the money of nobles, bartering is the money or currency of the people, debt is the money or the currency of slaves. Gold is the money of kings, silver is the money of nobles, bartering is the money of the people, debt is the money of slaves. So we, the people, have power, and we can use it by bartering with each other, right? So bartering with each other is a way to operate outside of the system. And I think, family, I have concluded everything that I wanted to share with you today. So thank you so much for indulging me and for listening and spending your late night with me. I love you so much. And now I'm open for questions. So let me see if I missed anything. Thank you so much, family. Somebody said 45, absorb the Fed. Absolutely. So House Resolutions 24 and 25 monitored the behavior of the Federal Reserve's banking system and the IRS. And then number 45, put the duties of the Federal Reserve System or the Fed underneath the umbrella of the Treasury system. He said, and the IRS has been closed in DC and moved to Reno, Nevada. And you know what's interesting about that, Thomas, is about 2018, I kept hearing news about Nevada. And so I said, something is going on in Nevada. And I kept hearing that they were building up certain areas in Nevada. So I said, what's in Nevada? And, there was some speculation that it would be the United States Treasury would be in Nevada, but I didn't see any proof. But what also is going on in Nevada is silver mining is going on in Nevada. Look it up. I thought that was very interesting. Thank you for sharing that. So you bought Argo. So family, Argo checks, Zimbabwe Argo checks, they're saying is worth a lot of money. So Mark Z had made that announcement a while ago. It's 12/22. I was trying to see if I could find that, but Metroid has sent me, and I'm gonna look in my messenger to see if I can find it, how much those checks are allegedly worth. So you can look up Zimbabwe checks, and I think it's spelled CHEQUES. And I want to see how much those are worth. You can find those on eBay. Here we go. Yes. So I'm going to show you this. So the 100 million notes are allegedly going to be worth 33 million US dollars. The $50 million notes will be worth 16,000. No, will be worth 16. Wait a minute. No. I'm sorry. The 100 million check notes will be worth $33 million. The 50 million check notes will be worth $16,500,000. The 25 million Zim checks will be worth $8,250,000. Allegedly, that's what we're hearing behind the scenes. And Mark Z, please support Mark Z. He has a channel called Coffee with Mark Z in the mornings, and he does an evening show. I think it's called Evening Chat or Wine and something with Mark Z, but it's MARKZ on YouTube. And then the 5 million notes will be worth $1,650,000. So this is what it says here. Those checks, again, you can find on eBay. So somebody said that it would be a good idea to buy those. Look on eBay and look for Zimbabwe checks if you're interested in those. So there is a new way of living right now. Why are you still paying car notes and house payments? Because the system is being dismantled, but it has not totally been brought down. Now, we've been told that there will be an emergency broadcast system announcement or an EBS. And when that announcement goes out, then we will know that the whole system is just kaput. But now we just have to see what's going on behind the scenes and line everything up. Okay, but you're right, Eugene. You should not be paying car notes. None of us should, or house payments, because we each have our own trust that was created at our birth, during our birth. So when we sign these contracts, unbeknownst to us, we are giving them permission, and we're actually making them power of attorney, according to my knowledge, these companies, these banks, and giving them, unbeknownst to us, allegedly some type of permission to access our trust. Or they're just doing it nefariously and they're claiming that our signature gives them access. But they access our trust and they pay themselves, and then they make us pay them back with interest. And all of that is unlawful, which is why 45 had to, he and the white hats of the military, dismantle that whole system. So thank you for that question. Loretta wants to grow food and eggs. Absolutely. Other countries have banned foods. Oh my gosh. I told Mark a while ago, to buy agro checks. So it's called agro, AGRO checks, CHEQUES. And you can find that on eBay, family. I don't know where else, but you can find it there. So Love BN Nubian says she was a driver, and there's so many issues going on in the transportation industry. So many things are going on, family. We have to know what's going on and be proactive. So when you are proactive, you are responsible for your life. You behave as a sovereign being. You have Sav is over and control. Reign is rule. Rule over. Sav, reign over your life, rule and control of your life. When you're sovereign, you think proactively and you take responsibility. You have the ability to have a educated, a mature responsibility, ability to respond appropriately when you are proactive versus being reactive. So when you're proactive, you plan ahead and you do what you need to do to prepare. So people that do not plan are reactive. They will have a knee-jerk reaction when the system kaputs, when if they shut down the banking system, or if they steal money from the banking industry, from your checking accounts and your savings account. They will have a knee-jerk reaction when the stock market collapses, and it will. As I brought out in the podcast yesterday, they are not, even mainstream media is saying there will be a stock market collapse in 2023. So they will have a reaction. We do not react over here because we're proactive, because we're self-actualized, because we're prepared. We have taken upon ourselves to be responsible. So instead of reacting, we respond. We have the ability to respond. When you break down that word, responsibility, ability to respond in a mature manner, because we have prepared sufficiently. So we've been saying for a while the stock market was going to collapse. So some people took their money out of the stock market. Now, those that didn't, they just keep their eyes on it and they watch, and they know when. You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them, know when to walk away, know when to run. You got to count your money while you're sitting at the table. I'm sorry. You all know what I'm saying. So if you're going to be in the stock market, just be responsible how you do that. Or you can decide to come out of the stock market. You could decide to take either some of your money or a certain amount of your money out of retirement accounts, because Janet Yellen said on January the 19th, on Thursday, when we reached the debt ceiling, that the way that we remedy that was to take, what'd she say? Take extreme measures and go into the accounts, the retirement retirement accounts of government workers. So when you know that, then you take responsibility for your life and you roll that over into a gold IRA, or you roll those retirement funds over into something that is safe and secure. So again, we're not going to react and have a knee-jerk reaction, we're going to respond. Yeah, don't text how much you have because everybody's not trustworthy. Where are the ZIMs expected to revalue? The exchange rate? Okay, all we know is that it will be an extraordinary exchange rate. Nobody knows, nobody can even fathom what it is. We've been told it'll be 1-to-1. And if that happens, that they may lop some of those zeros off, because if you look at those billion dollar notes, that's a lot of zeros, and $1 trillion notes and $100 trillion notes. So, excuse me, some people say it could be 1-to-1. And if they do that, they will again lop off some of those zeros, but we don't know how much. We just know it will be astronomical. Excellent question. And we'll keep our eyes out to see that. You're going to start a courier service. That's right. Start thinking about what type of services and humanitarian projects you will do. Now, of course, some of us never done that before, so we don't know what it looks like. But you can read, you can study, you can imagine, you can write down whatever you can. And what that does when you write things down is it puts it out in the universe or in the multiverse, and it starts to manifest and materialize, and it just gets your mind in a place where you're thinking ahead and you're not spending time thinking about things that are frivolous or being worried about what's going on in the entertainment industry, So think ahead and plan. No one knows the exact rates on these currencies or ZIM notes. Everything going around is just speculation. Thank you. That's wisdom speaking right there. We will not know until that day comes. So just purchase the currency and be patient. Now, most people know that when you're an investor and you make investments, you have to be patient. You usually don't get a high rate of return on your investment overnight. Baking soda and vinegar, is that to brush your teeth? I'm not sure. Get rid of the food in the middle of stores. Yeah, we need to be producing our own food. A currency still need to be legal tender? Yes, I can imagine, but I can imagine once it's backed by gold, that would make it lawful. Okay, never tell anybody how much gold, silver, or currencies that you hold. Oh, she deleted it. Very, very smart, Sister Patricia. Does anyone say what you hold? You'll just make yourself, don't say what you hold. You don't want to make yourself a target because everybody's not trustworthy. We're going live very soon. So get your house in order. Get everything in order. That's wisdom, Brother Harold. Thank you so much. Get your house in order. You all heard the video that I shared where they were, two gentlemen were actually, and I'll end with that video, were in the banks, and they were in Citibank, and they were talking about how the banker was expressing some information about the Chinese elders giving money, and they were also talking about the currency exchange and how the currency exchange will take place in their bank. And the banker actually asked this particular gentleman, do you have currencies? How much do you have? And he said, I'm not going to tell you how much I have, but yes, I have some in the millions. And she said, you're in good position. And she asked him if he had ZIM, and he said no. She said, too bad you don't have ZIM. So the news is coming out, family, and we know countries have gold. Let me see, 400. I'm going to show you how much gold banks have. 400 tons of gold. Let me show you how much gold. Oh, countries. Hold on, I'm showing you something. Countries hoard. We know all of this is happening, so we need to get our houses in order. Now we know that here's something very interesting to note, that China is one of those hoarders of gold. So we did learn earlier that India is hoarding silver and gold, and specifically silver. But let's look. So we're talking about countries hoarding gold. Here's a report in news.bitcoin.com. China suspected of stockpiling gold to cut greenback dependence. They're no longer dependent on the greenback. They are hoarding gold. So it says the third quarter mystery gold buyer is likely China, market analysis says. And the reason why they brought that up is because they told us that banks were hoarding gold, but then they said there was also a mystery hoarder. Hold on, now I'm looking up. I just want to show you what's going on and why you need to get your house in order. So they didn't tell us who this mystery buyer was until that article came out. We just had to speculate. So China's hoarding up gold. And I did a whole video on the whole world is ready when I talked about us all moving to the gold standard. So if you know Project Sandman was an agreement of 100 plus nations agreeing to return to the gold standard. But we know that is 209 nations, and it's happening right before our eyes. We also know that in the United States of America, not only have 13 states already legalized or introduced legislation or passed legislation to legalize silver and gold as money, but we also know about the House Resolution 5404. Let's see, now known as the Gold Standard Act. Gold Standard Act. Let's see if I look that up. Where's the Gold Standard Act? Oh, they don't want to tell me who it is. So we know about House Resolution 54, and there's a new one, Alexander Mooney introduced two bills. One was in, oh, here it is. One was in, and I'll bring it up in a minute. Alexander Mooney introduced House Resolution 5404, which defined the dollar as a fixed weight of gold in 2018 under number 44's administration. Then he came back, and I'll show you that in a minute, and introduced a new bill, again, defining the dollar as a fixed weight in gold. So we see them positioning the United States of America to join all those other countries that have returned to the gold standard. But first, let's look at what's going on with the banks. And this is why we say get your house in order, or put everything in order. This is on sdbullion.com. Central banks continue to buy gold bullion at record highs. They would not be doing this, if nothing was going on behind the scenes. So central banks are reporting this year to buy, that they're on pace to buy more gold bullion since the last official gold price rigging scheme collapsed. Last week in Q3 of 2022, and this report was in November 7, 2022. That's my mom's birthday, November 7, 7/11. So last week, this article says, in a Q3 or third quarter 2023 report by the World Gold Council stated that nearly, here you go, 400 metric tons, 400 metric tons of gold bullion got bought up by the central banks. This year's central bank gold bullion buying pace is at a 55-year record high level ever since before the last official gold price rigging scheme in London fell apart in 1968. So you see, banks are hoarding gold. Countries, we talked about China, we talked about India, and I did another report. I'll put that in the description section where I listed country after country that actually states that they have returned to the gold standard and or that they are hoarding gold. So this is why Harold says we need to get things in order. Now, here's another report. Oh, no, this is something I wanted to tell you about Alexander Mooney. There you go. I could not remember the resolution. Alexander Mooney is the representative of West Virginia. See, his name sounds like money with an additional O? That's not coincidence. Alexander Mooney took to his Twitter account to let us know about this resolution or this bill. I am proud to introduce House Resolution 9157, the Gold Standard Restoration Act. The gold standard will protect against Washington's irresponsible spending habits. Remember, they just reached the debt ceiling on Thursday, and the creation of money out of thin air. The gold standard would protect against Washington's irresponsible spending habits and the creation of money out of thin air. Prices would be shaped by economics rather than the instincts of bureaucrats. And he said that October the 11th, 2022. So thank you, Representative Alexander Mooney. So you see, we can tell what's going on if we know where to look. And now I'm looking up Project Sandman. I know you all are getting tired, but I just want to let you all know all that's going on. Project Sandman. I'm looking up Project Sandman. Let's look at Wall Street Silver because they brought it up. Here you go. So I'm going to stop sharing that. We're going to bring all this together, family, so you can see what's going on. Thank you all so much for being here and indulging us with this information. So as I was stating, 209 nations. Thank you, Harold, for saying, get everything in order. We're going to bring it all together. 209 nations agreed to return to the gold standard. But a lot of people did not know this. Now, we have been reporting this for many years, but I never knew the name of an act. I just knew the intel because I've been mentored and I did extensive research. So let's look at this. Remember, I was talking about Wall Street Silver, which is a community of silver lovers. Can you see this? We are a community that loves silver, period. I'm a part of that community. The way I became, it's right here. The way I became a part of that community was a couple years ago, I did a video on silver and somebody put my video in this community. And when I Googled my name, I Googled Dr. Kia Pruitt, and I saw my video was listed on Google as being on Reddit. And so I said, I never put my silver video on Reddit. And I saw that Reddit was the platform that Wall Street Silver uses. And I was like, oh, wow, they put my video on there. So I became a part of that community. Now I'm very active. So let's read this article together. This is on reddit.com/Wall Street Silver. So Project Sandman, here we go, describes 100 plus nation describes a 100 plus nation agreement that when triggered will see those nations simultaneously dump the dollar and abandon the petrodollar. When this decision is triggered, the dollar and all dollar-denominated assets will plunge to near zero literally overnight. This is why we need to get our houses in order, why we need to get our finances in order, why we need to be proactive so we won't react when the stock market crashes. So 100 plus nations have a global agreement now being deployed called Project Sandman to drop and end dominance of the US dollar and petrodollar. Mind you, everything that's dollar denominated will go to zero or near zero overnight. Now, when you study history, you know that at the end of every empire, they spin up the money, they use up all the credit. Here are my words, my trigger words, use up all the credit. I've been saying this, but Janet Yellen just announced on January 19th that we've reached the debt ceiling. Okay, they use up all the credit, they spend up all the money, they rack up all the debt, they print up as much money as they can, and then they crash the system. Historically, at the end of every empire, this is the end of Babylon. Babylon is falling, Babylon is falling. Babylon is falling. The pseudo-Roman Empire, the United States Incorporated, those bloodline families, those nefarious entities, those extraterrestrials, and non-humans and their human hybrids, and the humans that were in collusion with them, their empire is failing. It's going kaput. This is why the white hats of the military were created and pulled aside to arrest certain people, to end this system. And this is why 45 was chosen to lead that charge. So at the end of every empire, they spend up all the money, they print as much as they can, they use up the debt, we've reached our debt ceiling, and then they crash the system and they move to a new system. That's called a crack boom in economics. That's what they call it. So when that happens, family, everything will go to near zero. So it's almost over for them. And so that's why they're saying that 100 plus nations, but we know it's 209 nations, made that agreement behind the scenes years ago. And when I was reporting it in 2017, I'd never seen that article because I think that's actually a new article, new-ish. And I didn't know what it was called. So yes, we need to get our houses in order. It is happening. It is happening that the system is over. So every dollar denominated entity that's tied to the petrodollar or the US dollar will go to near zero. We see already that the United States dollar has lost 98% of its purchasing power. It has no power. It's basically sounding kind of like, other currencies that have been destroyed or demolished. But when we return to the gold standard, then what will happen is that we will return to pre-1971 prices, probably even prices earlier than that. You will have more purchasing power. You will be able to buy more with your money. So according to Nasara, you have to go on the gold standard. But before that happened, you had to take down the system and you had to get rid of those nefarious people in power, which is why we had a sealed indictment list. Now, that person that just got arrested for being in collusion with that oligarch, it said his indictment just became unsealed. So we have been talking about sealed indictments in 2017, 2018, but those indictments have been unsealed and these people are being judged because according to Nasara, you have to get rid of all that corruption, all that criminality, which is why the Iraqi premier said, I'm fighting endemic corruption in my country. I'm repatriating my gold. I'm working with other countries to repatriating stolen gold back to me, and I'm revaluing the IQD against the USD. So he was put in place to do that, to fight endemic corruption. So we're hearing person after person being arrested, being taken down or retiring, like Nancy Pelosi said she retired. But before she made that announcement, Kat Kamak, I can't remember. I think she's from Florida, Representative Florida, had taken to her social media to say, we fired Nancy. And right before that, number 45 had made a statement, nobody can find Nancy. Where's Nancy? So we know that she's been dealt with a while ago, but the person pretending to be her or her clone or her CGI or computer generated image or whatever made an announcement that she stepped down. I don't care. Step down, gotten rid of, whatever, you're out of here. We also know about the BRUNSON case, docket number 22-380, right? We know what that's about. All that was about dealing with the evil that's been going on behind the scenes. So it's happening. Although the system is ending, the good news is that a new system is coming online. The good news is that we're putting in good people. The good news is that we are taking our power back. The good news is that we're remembering that we're sovereign beings. We have rule and reign and control, reign over solve our lives. The good news is that we're reporting this information and sharing this information in the chat and every time we get together so that we can empower each other to be proactive and be responsible, take it upon ourselves to make a response based on being mature and emotionally sound, right? So we're getting ready, we're being proactive, we're doing the things we need to do so that we won't react when the system is demolished. We're buying currencies. We're, as we can, getting gold and silver. We're growing food. We're gathering seeds right now. We're gathering information right now. We're honing our skills. We're relearning how to barter. We're learning how to educate our own children. We're learning so many things, family, so that we can help each other as we move towards the golden era. So if you don't have money to buy currencies, to buy silver and gold, one of the most important commodities, or one of the most important things that you can have, is good health and strong, healthy relationships. Good health, because your health is your wealth, right? And it doesn't matter if you have a lot of money, if you don't have health, and you're not going to be here on the planet. You're not going to have a family. Be here with your family to direct them, to guide them, to nurture them. So your good health and relationships. Relationships are one of the most valuable things you can have, how you relate to other people. So we can be taking this time to get ourselves in order. And as one of our brothers said, get our houses in order, and ourselves and our businesses in order, our business in order. Get your children under control and in order. Establish that relationship with your spouse and make it stronger. Get these relationships with your extended family and bring them together so that you can live together. Because if you had been in the same house and lived together under the same roof and pulled your resources together, some of us wouldn't be struggling as much as we have been. But we're so many of us so egocentric, we're so independent, we're so concerned about ourselves, our need, our ego, and I get it, because, if you're able to do that, I understand and understand that. But if you don't want to struggle as much, you really can get under one roof. You can bring your family members back together, and you can reconnect with your spouse, your significant other, your companion. You see what I'm saying? Rebuild those relationships, because you're going to need each other if this whole system falls apart. That is worth more than money. And if you pull your resources together and the bills do continue to go up, or inflation continues to go high until that system completely crashes, you can help each other pay the bills. Okay. You can help each other buy gold. You can put your pennies and your dollars together and buy a Zim bond note. Where does it say AA or AB on the notes? It should be at the bottom right, I believe. It's either bottom left or bottom right. I think it's the bottom right. It should say 2008 or 2009 AA or AB. So thank you for asking that question. You could put your money together to buy silver and gold, because silver and gold are constitutional money. It's considered God's money. You're right. That's the only true money. Silver and gold have been here for eons, for millennia. And some say that there were a group of beings that came here that were not human, that came here from planet Nibiru, right, to mine the gold in order to heal their planet. So gold is wealth, not just because it's historically money, according to the Constitution, and is recognized around the world as gold, or as money, but it's also precious because it heals you. It changes your frequencies. It raises your vibrational frequencies. Silver, gold, palladium, platinum, and even copper. Even now, doctors and practitioners that we have now will tell you that if you wear copper bracelets, it will stop your joints from aching. So these metals stop you from aching. They increase your psychic powers. They help clean your pineal gland. They raise your mood. They increase your serotonin so that you're no longer depressed. We have silver receptors in our brain, so that scientists are coming up with methodologies now to cure brain-eating amoebas by using silver. They use tools and medicine made of silver. Silver is healthy. You can ingest it, you can eat it or drink it. So colloidal silver, along with zinc, kills viruses upon contact. You see, silver and gold have so many purposes beyond being used as money. However, constitutionally, the dollar is defined as a fixed weight in silver. And according to the Constitution, you may only use silver and gold in the United States Treasury. And I think what the United States Mint is supposed to be dealing with or creating or minting those coins. And by the way, Andy Schectman is one of the only precious metals dealer. He's the CEO of Miles Franklin, the gold guru, the gold CEO, but he's one of a very few precious metals dealers that are authorized, certified to sell products from the United States Mint. And that's a very prestigious accolade to hold. On top of that, he's been in business for 33 plus years and has an A plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, which is why I do business with him. So if you're interested in adding gold and silver to your portfolio, then you can contact Miles Franklin by email info at milesfranklin.com, info at milesfranklin.com. Send them an email, let them know that you're interested. And if you want them to call you, or however you want to do business, let them know in the email. And let them know that Dr. Kia Pruitt referred you, or use coupon code Dr. Kia Pruitt. So yes, the 2008 ZIMs, if you're getting into the exotic currency collections of business. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. Who is that? Thank you, Divine Ware. Keep up the great work, Dr. Pure. Oh, you're so kind. I am so sorry I missed that. I'm just now seeing it. I wish I can get to you. So you said, keep up the good work. PSA, you can buy USPS money orders because it's silver backed. Really? Thank you, Divine Ware. I never, ever knew that. Wow. We appreciate that intel, that information. Now, if I can find your comment, I could put it up here. So I can see it at the top of the chat, but I don't see it inside the chat. So thank you so much for your donation. I sincerely appreciate it. God bless you, Creator bless you. So if in addition to silver and gold, you're interested in exotic currencies, you can get the 2008-2009 AA or AB series note, Sister Maria. Somebody just sent us, oh, you guys are so kind. Thank you for here's the super chat I was looking for. Thank you so much. God, Creator bless you. I appreciate you, Divine Ware. Somebody said, oh, we're spot on. I appreciate you, South Africa. Blessings to you. Hi, Toronto. Creator bless you. And Terry, oh, you're amazing. Thank you so much for the super chat, for the donation. Creator bless you. I appreciate it so much. So the bank managers may answer your questions about Basel compliance and other things, or they might turn their head because they kind of act like they don't know. And they're wondering how you know. So check up on your bank. That was a good point. Let's see what else. Amazon has notes. Thank you, Divine Ware, for that information you gave us. If you go to the money charger, are they allowed to accept my Dinar banknotes? I don't know what money changer is. The 25, yes, they have 25,000 denominator note. I don't know. I only know, is that just the banks? Not yet. They are training right now and getting ready for it, but not yet until there's an announcement made. Now, many of us are signed up with Dinar recaps and some of the other Dinar newsletters. That was Keith. Thank you, Keith. Keith is our monitor. Thank you so much for being here, Keith. I appreciate you. And I don't know if Kathy's here or not, because we're here on so late, but keep up with people like me, Mark Z. I don't really follow Charlie Ward, but I know he gives great intel. So with him, Charlie Ward, Mel Carmine, by the way, Mel Carmine from XRP QFS Team 1 will be here on tomorrow to talk to us about digital assets or digital currencies, such as XLM, XRP, and I think XLD, and he'll tell us why it's important, what it is, and how to put it in your own personal possession. Read your Bible, trust God, and if you buy silver and gold, well, if you can, buy silver and gold with which to barter. So yeah, we need them to stop the chemtrails. Hi, South California. So thank you, Terry. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Oh, thank you so much. Who is this? Raul Gonzalez, thank you so much for the super chat. Creator, bless you. I appreciate you so much. Yes, you all are wonderful. Gratitude. Yes. Oh, thank you. Namaste. And what you see in me is a reflection of who you are. Thank you so much, Bullet Bar. Do you know if the banks will exchange all of our ZIM? I know that they should. The 2008-2009 AAAB notes, yes, but not yet. Not until we to it's official that we're on the gold standard. Now I don't know if they would make this loud covert announcement, but you and I will know, and we can actually see it happening now. Give a shout out to Melanie Hens. She needs help. Okay, Melanie, what does she need? Because I follow Melanie Hens. She does reports on the RV. Please let me know how we can help her. My bank manager didn't even know what Basel IV was. That's a hot mess. But in a way, it's good that you can educate them. And it's good because it's letting you know that we have information, right, that a lot of people and professionals do not have. So we can take that time to educate them and to prepare ourselves. Mel is great and a straight shooter. He gets straight to the points. He'll be here tomorrow. Yes. Hi, St. Augustine, Florida, right up the road. Thank you so much, Harold Thaxton. Thank you for the super chat. And thank you for telling us to get ourselves in order and for sharing the intel that you have given us. Creator, bless you with prosperity, long life, good health, and peace. And may the Creator bless you all, family. Hey, that's my sister, Rena. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Peace and love, Sister Rena. Y'all know who Rena Houston is, right? Look at her last name. We talked about her in one of my podcasts and about how that's my sister and eldest daughter of our beloved sister, Whitney Houston. She's the eldest daughter that a lot of people don't know about. And yes, she does know her mom. She had a relationship. She had a relationship or got to meet and talk to her mom. So thank you for being here, sister. I love you more. You need to call me tomorrow. Call me tomorrow morning. I think I'm going to be up early tomorrow, sis. You signed up numerous times on Dinar and it says all your emails aren't legitimate? Huh. Does anybody know where Karen can sign up with Dinar recaps? Karen, I'm signed up with them, but I don't know. I did it so long ago. I don't even remember how to do it. Somebody, can you put in the chat how she can do that? Oh, Kathy, you're from St. Augustine. I love it there. You lived there for several years when you were a little girl. Yes. Okay, so family, Melanie Hens. Write her name down again for us, Sister Ragamuffin. She needs followers and subscribers. She gives great intel. She has a lot of joy. She loves God. She talks about the Bible in a very positive, constructive way. And we want to support our sister. We want to share the love with her. Okay, so let her know, Ragamuffin, that we over here will support her and we will subscribe to her channel, so that she can have the support that she needs. We appreciate you, Harold, and we're all doing our best to stay positive. Let's see. Somebody said, my pleasure. Didn't get to put my, I don't know what you're saying. So family, I'm concluding, I'm rounding up, winding down. Rena, so yes, that people are sending you love, Sister Rena Houston. So I don't know, you all probably have heard the story. I didn't title that podcast that I did anything about Rena because I really didn't want to do it for that purpose. I was talking about other things, and then in the end, I talked about Rena. She's a beautiful, beautiful sister. She has gone through, some things when you are a product of the industry, a child of the industry. But if you all go to that song Whitney did, what's that song she did? There's a song she wrote. I can't think of the name of it. because I'm dancing with somebody that's in my head. But I get so emotional, baby, every time I think of you. At the end of that song, she kisses a baby, and that baby is Rena. So hello, Australia. Oh, super sticker. Thank you so much, Sister Lydia. You're amazing. You all are giving me so much love. All right, family, I want to share that video with you one more time. Leo Lab is writing a book on Whitney. Oh, okay. Creator bless you with prosperity and peace for that. Thank you. I don't know who that person is. Rena, do you know who Leo Lab is? Writing a book on your mom. Rena Houston also has books out, excuse me, about who she is. You love Mel, he's on point. So she has books out that have done well overseas. Thank you, Kay Wells. God bless you, Creator. Bless you with long life, prosperity, joy, and abundance of joy, love, and peace. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, Andreas. Can somebody explain Zimbons for a Swedish person? The Zimbon is a note. You all keep talking to each other. I think I have one. Hold on. It is a note. It is a bond. It is not a currency. The Zimbon is not a currency. It's a bond written on bond paper, government bond paper. So it is written on bond paper. I don't know much about bonds, but I do know it's not considered a currency. It's produced by the Bank of Zimbabwe. Here's a $10 trillion note. They will tell you it's not worth anything. It's for collectors' purposes. But what I find peculiar is right here at the top, it says, I promise to pay the bearer on demand. So when we present that to the bank, they're supposed to pay us an amount, but I don't know what that rate would be. So down here, you will have AAAB or AA or AB, and then you have a series of letters, and then it has the amount here, and you see this is gold and has a gold strip going behind it, and then this is what it looks like from the back. So the only thing I know about it is that it is a bond and it's written on government bond paper, and that it's a promise to pay. So if anybody else has information, please let her know. Hi, Gearhead. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Okay, yes. Harold, I always see you on Mark Z. I see a lot of you on Mark Z too. Thank you, Victoria, Sister Victoria, for the super chat. Creator, bless you. Should you exchange at Truist Bank or a major bank like Citibank? By the time the revaluation happens, we will know, and it will the only banks that will be open are the ones that are compliant. Now, somebody told me a couple of days ago, she sent me an email and told me that she asked the banker at Truist Bank if they were Basel compliant, and they said yes. So what I would do if I were you is I would ask the bank that I'm interested in if they are Basel III and Basel IV compliant. So again, somebody said Truist was. I don't know about Citi, but Citi is one of those banks that was in that video. Anything else I was going to say about that? That's it. Yeah, that's it. So let me see if I can if I can find, so Melanie Hens is the person that Ragamuffin is asking us to support. So let me show you this video one last time, and I'm going to show you something else, and then we're going to conclude for the night, but please keep chatting. I need for you to see this because some of you may be joining us late. So let's start with this one. Here we go. This one I uploaded called What Does Alexa Know? So put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it, because I'm not going to mute this one. Hold on 1 minute. I'm not going to mute that one, but I want you to hear what Alexa said. And this was sent to me by Metroid, my friend from Cleveland, Ohio. So you can see that, right? Now let me show you what it says. Thank you all so much for your graciousness. I really appreciate it. Let's listen to this. Oh, now I have to go over there and see where it is. Here we go. Let's see what Alexa says. Type 1 in the chat if you can hear it. If not, that means I need to mute it.
Alexa, when will the foreign currency reevaluation take place?
From certlibrary.com. The foreign currency revaluation has a considered date of January 31st. Did that answer your question?
Alexa, when will the foreign currency reevaluation take place?
From certlibrary.com. The foreign currency revaluation has a considered date of January 31st. Did that answer your question?
Alexa,
So
when
you
will the
see,
foreign
this was something that somebody sent to me because they thought it was very, very peculiar and very exciting and interesting. So I wanted to share that with you. And somebody says they may only respond to companies. Oh, okay, you're talking to somebody else. So we shall see. Thank you so much, Divine Ware. I appreciate you. You're just blessing me so much. Please do a judicial construct, then sign it, get it notarized, certified, and then apostille. That secures your ownership. Okay, are you talking to me or are you talking to someone in the chat? Thank you so much for the information. I'm glad you all could hear that. Yes, wasn't that exciting? So let me show you one more thing. I know it's late. Okay, let's hurry up because y'all need to go to sleep. Somebody actually sent that to me. So one more thing. Let me see. Here you go. I want you to hear this one and tell me what you think about this one. This is two gentlemen in the bank at Citibank talking to each other about something that was shared with them with the banker regarding the currency exchange. So we found that very interesting. Here we go. I uploaded that earlier today. So you can see the name of that is Wow. I said, wow, RV, GCR, Dinar, Dong, Zim, currencies exchange discussed by a banker. It's happening soon. Hold on. Let me do something.
Sorny.
How do some folks stay active well into their 70s, 80s?
Here we go. I think I got to start it over. Okay. I'm going to mute it now. So let me know if you can hear it. Please put 1 in the chat. You're welcome. Here we go. I'm going to mute it and then I'm going to press play.
See,
I'm the anonymous.
we're the anonymous.
I'm the anonymous.
This is the.
No. That's my information.
Okay, so this is the. Well, go ahead, Ruben. Just.
No, you go ahead, bro.
These are the 3 accounts that he was offered. I guess there's certain tiers that you're offered when you get an account. And this paper is what I sent you. And as you can see, it has, this is what, how would you say it, Ruben?
I'm going to go ahead and really quickly. He slipped and said, these are gifts from the Chinese elders.
Chinese, so he said the Chinese elders.
These are gifts, they're gifts from them. And I go, oh, really? And then he got quiet and backpedaled.
So it's like little pendants, 24 girl. And then as you can see, tier 1 to 5, it's based upon how much you have in your account, $1 million or higher. So what were you saying
The
about?
other one, there was another paper he showed me, but took it back. It had 10 million plus. I never seen that at a bank.
So which would be another gift or something, right?
But that was for like private. That was for private customers. Private bank customers.
And what were you saying about in terms of the currencies when you asked her about?
She said, she said, I go, you and I both know what's about to happen. And she just looked at me. I go, that's why your entire banking structure is based on foreign exchanges, foreign currencies, wire transfers, costs and fees that have changed. And inside these packages, that's all it talks about how the bank completely restructured as of December of last year.
Mm-hmm. Well, it says here that between December 1, 22 in March of 23 that they're gonna, this is their enrollment period
I
for
can't
for the New Year offer. Notice the 2023 Lunar New Year offer.
And I cannot show the papers inside.
Okay.
I can't show.
And then you asked her about, when she asked you about the currency.
I asked her, she goes, "Do you have currencies by any chance?" I go, "I absolutely do." And she asked how much, and I said, I'm not willing to disclose that, but that's in the millions. And she says, "Oh." And then she asked me, the lady come over and asked me, "Do I have Zim by any chance?" And I said, "No, that I don't have." And she goes, "Oh, that's kind of too bad."
But what currency do you tell her?
I told her I have the Iraqi dinars and the Vietnamese dong, which your bank is absolutely taking those. I called this morning, and then she goes, "Yeah, I know, we are."
Yeah, because Citibank, it's on there. You can definitely order it. Okay, so Holly, we just want to give you a verified update, just so you know what happened. This is like what, Ruben, about an hour ago?
That was yesterday, actually.
This is yesterday. Okay. So he just came over and shared it with me. So here we go. And then talk to you later. See.
I'm the anonymous.
So that's it, family. I just wanted you to hear that again, to hear them talk about the currency exchange and how that will be taking place. And she asked him, you heard her ask him if he had Zim notes, and he said, "No, but I have other currencies and I have millions." So this is good news, family. I'm so excited. So many wonderful things are going on behind the scene. Oh, thank you, Joey. I'm blessed to have you here. You're from Pittsburgh. Yay! It's late there too. I know it is. So wasn't that wonderful news, family? I did upload that. Yes, I did notice the lunar year was mentioned. They mentioned that, and I think it was written at the top of that paperwork. So this is the lunar year. They mentioned that. Isn't that interesting? And by the way, this is the Chinese year of the water rabbit, which is about prosperity. So good night, family. Good night, chat. I love you all so much. Thank you for staying up with us. Pray every day and night, read your word, and thank God for what he's doing. Amen. This is an exciting time. Me too, Patricia, to be alive. And they say we decided to come here to experience this. So it was our desire to help humanity become liberated. And you're welcome. Your internal fire. Girl, yes, my internal fire. I'm so hot. Thank you for saying that, because I be complaining about these old hot flashes. That's my biological sister, Sheree Massey, my baby sister, who told me once I got on social media, she said, "Kia, it's going to take a high emotional quotient. You're going to have a high EQ or emotional quotient, kind of like the IQ, but in terms of emotions, if you're going to be on social media. You're going to have to learn not to take everything personally, and you're going to have to learn not to make assumptions, because people are going to give their opinions. People are going to make comments. That doesn't mean they're attacking you. Some of the information that you give is new. So make sure you control your emotions and have a high emotional EQ. That's my baby sister. She's like 14 years younger than me, teaching her big sister how to behave. And so I appreciate that, because whenever people say things, sometimes I take it the wrong way. I'm not sure how to take it. I can hear her voice in the back of my mind. So I appreciate that, sister. I love you so much. And finally, family, make sure you like, subscribe. Thank you, Keith, our moderator. Subscribe to the channel. Like it. Oh, you love this fan? Share it, please. I got this from Ghana. Actually, it was a gift. When I lived in Ghana, I lived on a gold mine in the villages, and one of what they call a lesser king or a minor king was a chief. He was in love with me, and he wanted to make me his second wife. Ooh, child. His first wife was feeding me and taking care of me. I was like, oh, I don't know about all this. But he took me out. He took my sons out. He showed us around the whole village, and they loved him. We would go out and drive through the streets. He would throw candy and gifts out to the people. And oh man, he was just putting it on me, tell me how much he loved me. Because in Africa, as soon as they meet you, they say they love you, right? But he gave me gifts.
He asked me to be his wife. He fed us. He took us to church. He had the pastors and prophets to prophesy to me. Oh, he was just such a great man. Of course, I didn't want to be a second wife, and I was still taking care of my children's father, who at the time he and I were separated, but I was still taking care of him. And I didn't want to be a second wife. I do respect their culture. I just didn't want to do that, and I didn't want to do that to her. But it was an amazing time. And this was a gift from Ghana, West Africa. Ghana, by the way, is called the Gold Coast. And Ghana is one of those countries that have left the United States dollar and made an agreement, an announcement that they are returning to the gold currency. And they have actually even start minting gold coins. Okay, so what I want to do now, thank you. Bless your pea picking little heart. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. We're going to end. Did I see Rena? I thought I saw Rena. Yes. Absolutely wonderful news. We're going to end. I wish I could play the song, but I'm not going to play the song. I hope Rena's okay with this because I'm going to show you all. Much love to you all. I want to show you all something. Great advice. Sheree, thank you, sister. You sent me something. Oh, praying hands. I'm going to Zim notes. Yes, get AAAB. I'm just reading through this. Dr. Kia missed out on being a Ghanaian queen. Right. Now, they made me a queen mother, but I mean, I would have been elevated even more being married to him as a second wife. Now, I really respect cultures. I don't have anything against polygyny. I think it's beautiful if a man can take care of multiple women at the same time and treat them fairly and equally and give them a good life. I don't have any issues with it at all. So, but I did miss out. Come on through here, Nick. I missed out. Wise woman is so true. God bless you. Okay. Oh, where's Rena? I'm sorry, Rena. I'm trying to get to you. This is Rena. So here, before we close, we are going to, what did you say about Mark Z? So keep talking to each other. I want to show you something. This song here is a song. I can't play it because I could get a copyright infringement. But this song here is very, very important. I'm gonna see if I can.
The aerosol in vapes can lead to respiratory damage. Watch Walker.
Wait, the video will play in a few minutes. Hold on, I just want you to see something. How can I skip through this where you can't hear? Oh, I know how to do it. Hold on. So let's play this. I want to, 1 minute. I'm going to show you something. So this video here, family, is the video So Emotional by Whitney Houston. I don't know if you all remember that song, but it's beautiful. She sings, I get so emotional, baby, every time I think of you. You remember that song? I get so emotional, baby. There is something that nothing that love can't do. So Rena Houston is Whitney's eldest child that was taken away from Whitney because she had her when she was a teenager. And one day, if Rena ever wants to tell her story herself, she will tell it. But when you are in the industry, and I'm gonna be very careful what I say, they can control you. And if you don't do what they say, you remember all her songs, if you don't do what they say, they can take your children. And so a lot of things has happened behind the scenes. She said, that's the one at the end of the video. Okay, thank you, sis. I'm gonna go to the end of the video. But a prophet said that they saw Whitney Houston in heaven, and I got so overjoyed. Wonderful. So, okay, don't get a copyright infringement. You're right. So I'm just going to see if I can scroll to the end of that video. Hopefully y'all can't hear. I'm gonna go to the end. Hold on. And oh, here we go. Hold on. I'm gonna show it to, oh shoot. Nope. So I'm going to mute it. I'm going to turn off the sound, and hopefully you all, said I grew up with Whitney in our household. Yes, because our brother was in love with Whitney. Somebody saying what a load. Well, so listen, I'm going to not play the music, but I'm going to show you the end of the video. Let me see, so you can see the baby. Hold on. Did you see that? Did you see that? Can you hear me? Can you all hear me? Did you see that? Did you? Thank you, sisters. To always protect, no need for. Okay, thank you. Did you see that? The baby at the end. The baby at the end that she kissed, you saw it? That is Rena. That was oh good, you heard it. That is Rena Houston. So yeah, you saw her, sis. My little sister said, yes, we saw. That's Rena. That's my girl Rena. I just get emotional when I think of Rena because she's so sweet and loving, and just to think of how the industry kept her away from her mom. Thank you, sis. Kept away from her mom. And so they made her life hard. Her mom wasn't able to see her. Her mom wasn't able to have a relationship with her. And whenever you in the industry, they can control you by selling your children off into sex trafficking and selling them off to other families, and they won't even know it. But by the grace of God, Whitney learned of where her daughter was and came to her and met with her and talked to her. Whoo, I get chills. Talk to her and let her know about what was going on. So the industry knows who Rena is. Cissy Houston knows who Rena is. Rena was allowed to go to the funeral. Yes, I've seen those pictures. I've seen her at the funeral. I've seen Rena with her mom when she was a baby. I've seen the blood test. I've seen the test between her and Bobby Christina. That is Whitney's eldest daughter. So we love you, Rena. You are so important to us. We are grateful that God kept you through all you've been through all the trials, through all the tribulations, to being taken away from your mother, to being hurt and mistreated. We are praying God's protection. We call on the Almighty right now to lay your hands on Rena, to comfort her, to bring her peace and console her in her spirit, bring her joy, give her the opportunity to reconnect with her mom and her mom's family, if her mom is still alive somewhere. And if she's not, help her to keep hearing from her mom, because we both have visions and dreams of Whitney often. We ask you, God, to bring people in her life that will give her support and love and nourishment. We ask that you protect her children and protect her, that you strengthen her emotionally and spiritually and physically, that you restore her financially, because they've taken so much from her. They've not allowed her to thrive. They've not given her access to her trust. They have spoken publicly that they know that she exists, and yet they will allow her to suffer. So we're asking you to take away the pain, take away the suffering, God. Wipe away the tears from her eyes. Wrap your loving arms of comfort around her. Kiss her, God. Rock her in the cradle of your bosom, and let her know that our soul family loves her, that we're here with her, and that we will support her in any way that we can, because we are her sisters and brothers, and we are her soul family. God, I'm asking that you be with her. And I'm asking, Lord, that you would give her what she needs. I'm asking that allow her to command her blessings, that every word that she speaks manifests and materializes as she speaks it. And we will give you the praise, we will give you honor, we will give you reverence, and we will give you glory. We thank you Heavenly Father, and we tell you we appreciate you. We give you blessings and adoration and praises from the fruit of our lips because you're good and you're merciful and you're mighty and you're amazing. Thank you for being a good shepherd. Thank you for watching over Rena and my nieces and my nephews. Thank you for watching over every last one of us here on this podcast. Thank you for keeping us and giving us strength and courage as we've gone through these trials and tribulations. Thank you for keeping us with a sound mind and a sound body. And even though we've been sick from time to time, and even though we went through that shutdown, you kept our minds. You kept us and allowed us to be here, even though some of us have lost our jobs and we felt like we couldn't hang on. Some of us have lost our homes and we've lost our spouses and we've lost people to the sickness. But God, you have kept our minds at peace. You've allowed us to have the faculties of our minds, and for that, we say thank you. You've allowed us to be sustained, to somehow eat, to somehow still be able to live and function in this wicked and cruel world, and for that, we say thank you. You've allowed us to reconnect with one another, our soul family, and stick together and support each other and cry with each other and encourage each other and edify each other and love on each other, even though it's a cyber love. And for that, we say thank you because you didn't have to do it. So we give you praise and honor and glory. We magnify your name because you're amazing and wonderful. And to all those evil entities and all those wicked spirits, we command you to loose your hold on our people. We command you to loose your hold on our finances. We command you to loose your hold on our blessings. And we call down prosperity. We call down abundance. We call down peace. We call down love. We call down joy. We call down abundance in the mighty, miraculous name of Jesus Christ, the Messiah, Yeshua, Allah, Elohim, whoever we call you, source, and in the name of our almighty ancestors. And we thank you and praise you and just give you all the adoration that you deserve. So family, I hope I said something, anything to raise your vibrations as we ask God to turn things around and give us miracle after miracle and blessing after blessing. We hope we said something, family, soul family, to give you the support, the love, and the encouragement you need to manifest the magnificent, glorious, abundant, beautiful life that you desire and deserve. Amen. Amen. And so be it. I love you all, family. Have a good night. Big hugs to you all. Kisses, because we all desire to be here and we're all here to love on, encourage, support each other. And we're going to be the ones to help our family, and we're going to be the ones to restore humanity. Please, family, peace, family, have a good night. In the mighty name of Yeshua, amen, amen, amen. It is so. I love you all so much. Take care. Good night. And Ashe.